911 dispatchers are available 24/7 to answer calls for medical help to reporting a crime. However, when it comes to mental health issues, 911 is not always the right fit.
A 911 dispatcher is trained and encouraged to quickly process calls. We ask the address, we ask what's going on, we dispatch out the call. Sitting there on the phone for 20 or 30 minutes talking about someone's feelings or why they don't feel good, why they don't feel happy, why they're depressed, those kinds of things, that's not exactly what a 911 dispatcher is supposed to be doing.
The 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 confidential support to people in suicidal crisis or mental health-related distress. The Reach for Hope Suicide Prevention Coalition in Washington County believes that 988 is easier to remember for calling or texting for help.
And we're excited because what it's going to happen is when people call the emergency line, they're going to distinguish between a mental health crisis and a different kind of crisis. So it actually expedites that call, and it'll go initially directly to the University of Utah, where they will have 24/7 crisis workers address whatever the concern is. And we know that about 90% of mental health crises can be managed over the phone. And if it's not something that can be managed over the phone, it will be rerouted locally to our crisis team, the MCOT team, Mobile Crisis Outreach Team, and they will be able to talk to that individual one-on-one, and then if they need to be dispatched out to the crisis, then they can help that way.
The St. George Police Department is another entity that is hoping to see less calls as a result of the new 988 number.
Officers have a lot of tools. We have tools on our belt, we have tools on our vest, and this is another tool that's going to help, hopefully, the community overall get the help that they need, and while keeping the rest of us in our own wheelhouse doing the things that we're trained and required to do.
Law enforcement are hoping the new 988 number will allow the right help at the right time so the crisis doesn't become escalated.
And so when you get police involved in those situations, there's a chance that it could take something that is not a crime and turn it into a crime. And that's something that we try very hard to avoid. That's why when we're called to suicidal subjects, we don't just storm the castle. We make phone calls. We try and reach out prior over by phone.
The fact that we can transfer those calls and not run the problem down to its completion, or at least run it down to a point where an officer can respond, saves us time, saves us money and resources.
Grenier thinks it'll take about a year's time to know the real effects of the new 988 number. The 988 response system should be more effective in saving lives and breaking down stigma.
In that recognition, it'll gain traction and people will understand, just like with poison control, like 911, here's a number that you could dial in case of. I think that's the hope.
It helps people understand that it's okay to make that phone call. You know, it helps people understand that a lot of people are struggling with this, and it's okay to call, it's okay to reach out for help. It also gets the word out about some of the resources that we have available.
In the meantime, dispatchers at the St. George Consolidated Communications Center will continue to make a difference for those who call 911 for police, fire, and emergency medical services, one call at a time. In St. George, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.